Hi again, everybody. It's Dan McTeague, President Canadians for Affordable Energy. I promise I'd get back to you on more net zero follies, and of course, not just as we've discussed before, electric vehicles and the shortcomings of heat pumps, but now we have wind and solar projects right across the country, right around the world, and we need to talk about that because while it's seen as an alternative, as a panacea, as a solution, as a way of fighting climate change, the reality is that to achieve the goals of electrifying to 90% our economy, which is the ambition and the goal behind net zero in Canada by 2050, you're going to require a significant amount of public investment. Not just dollars I'm talking about, but also to shut down industries in this country that are so far and away the major breadwinners, and if you will, the golden goose of Canada. Here, of course, I'm referring to the oil and gas industry. I'm no fan of theirs, by the way. They're not a big fan of mine. When I predict gas prices and lose tens of millions of dollars every year in gas price predictions, you can imagine that I'm no longer on their Christmas card list. But that aside, many of those companies are also involved, not just with the EV chargers, but with sources and with opportunities for solar and for wind. And for what they are doing, of course, is receiving significant credits, if you will, as we see from the Clean Fuel Standard. They're getting credits for what they're doing that they can place against their emissions, which is all nice and fine, except when it comes down to efficiency. As has been suggested here many times, and my good colleague who is an expert in this field, Parker Gallant, if you ever get a chance, look at some of my tweets and look at some of his work, you'll find that right across the country, solar is falling short. And we know that for a fact, that when you have no wind, or in the case of solar, when you have no sun, wind and solar tend to be significant drawbacks. And of course, some will say, well, we can use batteries to back them up. The problem with batteries is that they don't last very long. They're extremely unstable. And of course, we do know that their cost is significant, and they will not provide the base load necessary to be able to provide us with what we need, especially during peak times. Now, we have sent out emails and letters to every municipal councillor in Ontario, particularly those who thought it was a great idea to shut down natural gas backup plants. Remember, they were introduced at a time when the provincial government decided that it was important to shut down coal plants ahead of time. That's nice, that's fine, and it's good to virtue signal. But if the alternative is natural gas plants, especially those who push for the shutting down of the coal plants, the Ontario Clean Air Alliance, Jack Gibbons and that group wanted those plants shut down. They forced the McGuinty government, shamed them to shutting down, and said the alternative is natural gas. Well, now they want those things shut down. The reality is you can't have it both ways. And it's important to recognize not just the fundamental reality that those products that they are providing will not equate the base load and the peak needs that we have when temperatures go extraordinarily hot or they go extraordinarily cold, as we see many, many times, not just here in Ontario, but right across the country. So it really puts into question the validity and the legitimacy of putting so much money behind solar panels and, importantly, windmills that wind up after 10 or 15 years, not just in landfill, but ugly sites that cannot be recycled. The reality, I think, for many of us, though, is that windmills, if they are to displace in Canada or around the world, the actual need and what is provided by fossil fuels, that's coal, oil, natural gas, propane, and to a lesser extent, biofuels, which of course is burning wood in many respects. If they are to replace those, we are going to have to globally around the world build what is the equivalent of a 50-story, 3 megawatt windmills every single day for the next 20 to 30 years. That's impractical. And we know that we cannot do that, nor is there the capacity to do something like that. So the same really applies to solar, although it's seen as as an opportunity. Much of the solar panels that we have today are made in China. The silica needed to build those things, the products needed to build those things are mined. The mining is among the most damaging to the environment that we could possibly imagine. So I think that while our intentions are good, the reality is that going down this road is not just costly, it is for many people, and it should be seen for many people as something that falls far short. These might complement the existing menu of energy that we have in this country and around the world, but they should not be seen as being able to substitute the energy that we currently have. Best that we do a better job with what we have, oil, gas, propane, hydroelectric, nuclear, rather than throwing good money after bad and leaving Canadians, like the rest of the world, short a few bucks at the end of the month. This is one of the main reasons why inflation and grifting in this country tend to go hand in hand. The higher the cost of energy, the higher the cost of everything. It's something that I think Canadians are paying more attention to, and we at Canadians for Affordable Energy will continue to do that. I draw your attention to the link in the description here. If you want to help us and donate, that would certainly be much appreciated. The work that we do to get our message out, often well ahead of everyone else, is not something that we come by easily, and we need your help to achieve that. I'm Dan McTeague, Canadians for Affordable Energy. Looking forward to talking with you on our next topic will be the emissions cap, another dandy under the net zero marketing rubric.